Hi guys, welcome back to our fraction series on how to add fractions. Last time we talked about adding fractions with like denominators, but what happens when you have fractions with unlike denominators? Today we're going to be going through the steps to add these two fractions with different denominators. But first, let's go through how to add fractions with like denominators. Let's do a little bit of review. So as we talked about last time, adding fractions with like denominators involves adding the numerators together. These numerators up here are the top numbers in blue, while the denominators, those are the purple numbers on the bottom, they stay the same. The reason the denominator stays the same is because that's the entire whole. Over here, I've made a little diagram. Let's call this a loaf of bread. So there are 9 equal pieces of bread. The 9 pieces all together makes the whole loaf of bread. But if we are doing this problem where we're adding 1 piece of bread and then 3 more pieces of bread, you can see that that's not a whole loaf of bread. But then again, we also don't change the denominator. It's not 4 out of 18 because we have not increased the size of the loaf of bread. The loaf of bread stays the same. Let's go into adding fractions with unlike denominators. So let's take this example. It is my friend's birthday, and she got 2 cakes for her birthday. At her party, one was strawberry and the other was raspberry. So most people had a slice of one or the other. So now the birthday party's over and my friend is trying to put all the cake into one pan so she can put it in her fridge. So she has 2/5 left of this cake and 1/2 of this cake. So we're trying to find out how much of an entire cake she has. So if she were to put the 1/2 of the cake and the 2/5 of the cake in the same pan, how much cake would she have? Now, I want you to pause this video and try brainstorming different ways you might be able to figure out how much cake there is. Take a few seconds, try drawing this out on a piece of paper, and come back to me in a minute and I'll show you how we do it. Welcome back! So in order to solve this problem, we are going to use some extra manipulatives. So if you've drawn this out, if you haven't already, grab a piece of paper and draw these 2 diagrams over here that I'm circling, the 2/5 and the 1/2 cake. And now I'm going to show you a neat trick that you can do when you draw this out. So the way that we are going to actually solve this is to cut each cake into 10 equal pieces. You can see what I've done here is I've taken the 2 different diagrams and I've drawn a half line in the 2/5, so I've split the 2/5 in half. And then for the 1/2, I've split it into 5 more pieces. So if you count up all the pieces, we have 10 pieces here and 10 pieces here, which means we can add them together. They have a like denominator. So we can count here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 pieces of cake, and the pan can fit 10 pieces of cake. So our answer would be 9 out of 10. So what did we do here? We changed the fractions to have like denominators. So for 2/5 and 1/2, we found the least common denominator between the two. So 5 and 2 both go into 10. They're both numbers that, when multiplied by a different number, can equal 10. So for 5, 5 times 1, 2 equals 10. For 2, it is 2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we can do here is multiply the top and bottom to have like denominators. So for this one, we're multiplying the top and bottom by 2. Remember that when you multiply the top and the bottom by the same number, that you're actually multiplying it by 1 because 2 out of 2 is equal to 1. On this side, we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 5. 5/5. We can see that this turns into 4 out of 10. And this one becomes 5 out of 10. And we can see here that we get 9, because we're adding cross on the top, the numerators, 9/10. And up here, that's the same number we got when we used the diagram. Let's do another example. For 7/12 and 1/3. For this example, we have two options. Option 1 is to multiply the denominators, 12 and 3, to get just a common denominator between the two, or we can find the least common denominator. Option 1, we would multiply 12 by 3 to get a common denominator. This is easier for some people than writing out the two columns to find the least common denominator. However, it's a little more time consuming, so you will end up having to simplify at the end because it will be a bigger denominator and a bigger numerator. Let's do option 1 first. So it will be 7 out of 12 plus 1 out of 3. So what we would be doing here is just multiplying this side by 3 out of 3 and multiplying this side by 12 out of 12. And this gets us a common denominator, so I'll rewrite it as 3 times 7, that's 21, and 3 times 12, 12, 24, 36. So 21 out of 36. And we add 1 times 12 is 12, and 3 times 12 is 36. So we have that like denominator, so we can go ahead and add a cross on the top for the numerator. So that would be 2 plus 1 is 33. There you go, or 3. And then 33 out of 36. Now this is a pretty big number, so we can see that we can simplify here. We can divide by, it's a number that can go into both, 3. So let's divide by 3 on the top and bottom. We have 11 out of 12. So this would be our answer for this problem. So 11/12. Now let's see the other way. So our other option is to find the least common denominator between the two. So let's make our two charts on the side. 12 and 3. So our factors of 3. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 4 is 12. And we can see 12 times 1 is 12, so we know our common denominator could be just 12. So in order to do that, we have to then multiply this side by 4 over 4, since 3 times 4 equals 12. So let's rewrite it below. 7 out of 12 plus 1 times 4 is 4, and 3 times 4 is 12. 7 plus 4, you got it, it's 11. And 12 stays the same because we have the same denominator. You're so smart. So it would also be 11 out of 12. So either way, you're still getting the right answer. It's just about how you want to do it, what you find easier. Sometimes it's easier to just multiply the two denominators together, get a really big number, and then simplify. Or sometimes it's easier to just find the least common denominator, especially with smaller numbers like 3 and 12. If you know 3 goes into 12, you know that you can just multiply that side by 4. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, let me know. Have a good day!